Hello, my friend. Let's take a quiet journey together, back to the Middle Ages. Imagine a world of castles and small villages where life moved slowly. Today we're not here for battles or grand adventures. Instead, we'll witness a medieval wedding, a calm, careful tradition. Find a comfortable spot under a shady tree and let's observe. In this world, days followed the sun and seasons, and every event had its time. Weddings weren't wild celebrations but careful, planned connections between families. Marriage was practical, joining land, securing alliances, and continuing family lines. Love, as we know it, was rarely the main reason. These unions brought order and predictability to life. Everyone knew their role and followed quiet, time-honored rules. Let's settle in and watch as families and communities come together. A wedding was a promise for the future, a thread in the fabric of daily life. We'll notice the promises, the clothes, and the food shared. Each detail is a gentle brushstroke in a larger painting. There's no need to rush. Let the slow pace of the past comfort you. We'll take our time, just as they did. Let this story be a quiet lullaby from a time long gone. Our journey into medieval weddings begins now. Listen for the distant bell, feel the gentle breeze. The world can wait, our focus is here. We'll learn, observe, and let history unfold softly. Let the peace of this era settle over you. Our sleepy history journey has begun. Welcome to the gentle world of medieval weddings. In the Middle Ages, marriage was rarely a surprise. Families arranged unions years in advance, sometimes when children were just toddlers. For nobles, a marriage was like a treaty, securing peace and alliances. Even peasants treated marriage as a serious agreement, joining land and resources. Parents would meet, make a formal promise, and the whole village would know. Sometimes the agreement was written, often it was simply witnessed. Children grew up knowing their future was set, like a path through a field. A boy learned his father's trade, a girl learned to manage a household. This system brought stability and predictability to a hard life. There was little worry about finding a partner. Everything was decided. The arrangement gave young people a clear sense of purpose. It may seem unexciting, but it removed much uncertainty. In a world where survival was tough, security was valued. The quiet promise of marriage was a steady light guiding children to adulthood. These early promises shaped the community's future. Duty and family came first, and everyone understood their role. The journey to marriage began long before the wedding day. It was a calm, predictable path leading children toward their place in the world. Before the wedding, there was the betrothal, a formal promise made public. This ceremony, often held at a church porch or in a family home, was nearly as binding as marriage itself. The couple, sometimes meeting properly for the first time, stood before a priest or elder. They each had to say, "I will," giving their consent even in arranged matches. Afterward, gifts were exchanged, a ring from the groom, a dowry from the bride's family. The ring was simple, a symbol of endless promise. Dowries varied, land or gold for nobles, livestock or linens for peasants. These gifts sealed the agreement. Once betrothed, the couple was officially promised and could not easily break the contract. The community recognized them as future husband and wife. The waiting period could last months or years, especially for young betrothed children. This was a time of preparation and patience. The betrothal was a quiet but powerful moment, joining two paths. The promise was now set in stone. The community watched and waited with them. The betrothal marked the true beginning of their journey together. It was a calm public step toward marriage. The couple's future was now intertwined. All that remained was to wait for the wedding day. On her wedding day, a peasant bride wore her best dress, usually her Sunday dress, made of wool or linen, dyed with natural colors. She and her mother would clean and mend it carefully. Her hair, worn down and brushed, symbolized youth and purity. A garland of fresh flowers added a gentle touch. No makeup or jewels, her beauty was simple and natural. The groom wore his best tunic and hose, cleaned and neat. He might tuck a fragrant herb in his tunic for luck. Their clothes were practical, durable, and humble, mirroring the earth around them. Together, They looked like part of their world, hardworking, ready for a new life. Their appearance showed respect for the ceremony and community. No extravagance, just care and dignity. Their special day was marked by effort, not expense. In their simple clothes, they stood with quiet pride. For nobles, wedding clothes were a display of wealth and power. Brides wore gowns of silk, velvet, or fine linen, dyed in deep, expensive colors. Dresses featured long sleeves, fur trim, and gold or silver embroidery. Jewels and pearls were sewn onto the gown, making it heavy and magnificent. Accessories included golden nets, jeweled circlets, and precious jewelry, part of the dowry. The groom wore a richly embroidered tunic, bright hose, and a fur-lined cloak. Every detail was chosen to impress and show status. Together, the noble couple dazzled. Clothing was a public declaration of their family's importance. The wedding attire was as much about family honor as personal celebration. Their appearance set the tone for the entire event. Nobility was displayed in every stitch and stone. On the wedding morning, the village buzzed with quiet anticipation. The bride walked slowly from her home to the church, joined by family and friends. Musicians played gentle tunes. Villagers scattered flowers and herbs along the path. The procession was a public event, connecting the bride's old life to her new one. The groom had his own procession, equally important. Sometimes the two groups met and walked together, symbolizing the joining of families. Friends might playfully block the bride's path, prompting small gifts to let her pass. The walk was both a physical and symbolic journey, from single life to married life. Every step reflected the steady pace of medieval life. The whole community participated, making it a shared celebration. The slow walk set the tone for the day's calm traditions. The wedding began outside the church where the community could witness the vows. The priest led the couple through simple, direct promises. The groom and bride each said, "I will," then exchanged a ring in a ritual gesture. The ceremony was public, ensuring transparency and community support. After the vows, the party moved inside for a brief, solemn mass. The couple knelt at the altar, received prayers and blessings, and a cloth might be held over their heads to symbolize unity. The church was quiet, filled with the scent of incense and the priest's calm voice. The Mass made the marriage official in the eyes of God and the community. The rituals were simple, meaningful, and unchanged for generations. When it ended, the couple walked out together, their new life begun. The ceremony was calm, orderly, and deeply rooted in tradition. The community's blessing was complete. After the ceremony, the wedding feast began. For peasants, it was a community potluck. Bread, cheese, ale, and simple stews shared outdoors or in a barn. Everyone contributed, and the mood was happy but gentle. Musicians played, stories were told, and the village relaxed together. For nobles, the feast was grand, held in a castle hall with elaborate dishes and multiple courses. Trumpets announced each course. Food was colorful and spiced, showing off wealth. Guests sat by rank, following quiet rules of etiquette. Servants moved quietly, refilling goblets and serving food. Entertainment was formal, jesters, minstrels, and subtle displays of status. The feast could last hours or days, but always followed a calm, predictable rhythm. Both rich and poor celebrated with their community. The feast was a gentle, shared joy. Hospitality and tradition were at the heart of the celebration. The day's slow pace continued into the night. As the sun set, the wedding feast wound down. The music softened, and guests drifted home, leaving the couple with quiet good wishes. For nobles, the final courses ended in gentle contentment. Before retiring, the couple took part in the bedding ceremony, a symbolic, peaceful ritual. The priest blessed the marriage bed with holy water, wishing them happiness and fertility. Guests offered final congratulations, then left the couple in peace. The room was quiet, lit by a single candle. The long day of tradition and celebration was over. The couple, now united, began their shared life. From childhood promises to final blessings, the process created stability and community. Our journey through medieval weddings ends here. Let these gentle images linger in your mind. Good night.